Hey everyone, Dan with Mac Rumors, and in this video we're going to go over a few tips and tricks for your new iPad that you may or may not know. Some of these tips and tricks are not strictly for the new iPad Pros, but some do require an iPad Pro, second generation Apple Pencil, and keyboard. Our first tip is one that I use a lot when using the virtual keyboard on an iPad, and that is using the flick gesture to access different characters instead of using Shift. So for example, in the number row, you'll notice above the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 keys, you have your exclamation point, @ symbol, etc. Instead of tapping Shift in order to type those characters out, simply flick down on that key to quickly access them. This has saved me loads of time when typing on the virtual keyboard. Speaking of saving time, if you want to select a lot of text at one time, you can actually tap the screen with 2 fingers and then slide your fingers up and down to select a lot of that text at once. Aside from just highlighting text, if you tap with 2 fingers anywhere on the screen and move around, you get the cursor-like movement, helping you choose the perfect spot to edit your document. Of course, you can also achieve the same cursor option by simply holding down on the spacebar too. This next tip is also not specific to the new iPad Pros, but does require a keyboard accessory like this Smart Keyboard Folio from Apple. Just like in macOS, there are some very useful keyboard commands that can be used to help make your iPad experience more like using a laptop. There are tons of useful commands like Command Tab to switch between open applications, or Command H to return to your home screen, or even tapping the spacebar inside of Safari to scroll through long web pages. There are tons of useful keyboard commands, but the most useful of all is simply holding down the Command key inside of any application or even on the home screen to bring up a full list of keyboard commands. One quick side note, if you do have a 2018 iPad Pro with Face ID, simply double tap the spacebar to wake up your iPad, activate Face ID, and unlock your iPad without having to do anything else. It's really handy. These next few tips are pretty specific to the new iPad Pros, and our first one might be very obvious, but it's more of a memory refresher. You already know that the new iPad Pro is the first iPad to incorporate Face ID, but don't forget that this also means you get Animoji and Memoji for the first time on an iPad too. That's really it, just wanted to remind you. The new Apple Pencil also has a few new tricks up its sleeve, and most of you probably know that double tapping the bottom of the pencil gives you the ability to switch between different tools or functions. But if you want to go ahead and customize those actions a little bit, you can do so in the Settings application under Apple Pencil. Here you'll find options to switch between the current tool and eraser, switch between current tool and last used, switch to your color palette, or turn off double tap feature entirely. Another trick you can do with the Apple Pencil is when the iPad screen is off, simply tap on the screen with your Apple Pencil and you'll launch right into the Notes app for a quick note feature that I find incredibly useful. There are also some custom settings for this feature as well, located in the Settings app, Notes, and Access Notes from Lock Screen. Finally, the new iPad Pros are the first iPads to come with a new USB-C port, and we all know this means that you need a new USB-C cable to charge your iPad, but you can also use this cable to connect your iPad to a few other USB-C accessories. So for example, if you have a USB-C monitor, you can now use a secondary display with your iPad by plugging in your USB-C cable into your iPad and the monitor. The same goes for importing footage from a camera that uses the same USB-C connection, etc. If you happen to have a USB-C to Lightning cable handy, you can now charge your iPhone with your iPad. So let us know your favorite tip from this video, or if you have a tip or trick that you think we should know about in the comment section down below. This has been Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.